Hi, my name is Amanda Kirk and I am a game developer in upstate New York. This is a how-to guide for being a producer on a project during a game jam. The producers should be working with their teams to evaluate the tasks that need to be accomplished to complete the game, and making sure that everything is running smoothly and that other participants aren't being blocked by other teammates. I've included an Excel file that can help with project planning. They can also use a pen and paper, or they could use a Google Doc or anything, any tool for writing down their different project plans. For this video, I'll be mainly referring to the Excel doc that I've included. So at the beginning of the project, before anyone has begun any work, they should work as a team to develop the number of tasks that need to be completed for their projects. The producer should be writing down each task and then a description of what exactly has to get in. And they should be fairly small tasks and fairly well described tasks. So it's very clear to anyone on the team, if the thing has been completed or not and what is entailed within for completing that task. Those tasks can then be assigned to, is it an art task, a design task, or a programming task? And then from there, there's an assignee, which specific person should that be assigned to? And certainly if it's a very small team and the person who is a producer also has other skills, it's possible that, just because it's an art task, maybe if they have art skills or programming skills, they could also take on some of those tasks. So just being able to evaluate who's working on it. Another important reason to keep track of who's working on what is to make sure that no one ends up working on the same thing as someone else, because it's certainly not a very efficient use of time if you have two people who are doing the exact same thing. So the producer, their role should be to, make sure everyone's working on those specific things, and then, making sure that people aren't busy worrying about tasks that really aren't their issue. Then they also should evaluate, when they're looking at the list of items, what is the priority of the different tasks? And priority is kind of there's two different factors that really affect the priority of a specific item. One would be if it's necessary for the completion of the game. So if it's something that is required, like if it's a game that has a character in it, you clearly need to have a character, but maybe you don't have to have cool animations for them. You can have simple animations to start. But you would need to have a character in the game. Also, what also impacts the priority is whether or not it blocks another teammate from being able to complete their tasks. So if there's something that needs to get in, like you're making a game that has a bunch of different levels, but you don't have the system in for the designer to create the levels, then that would block the designer from being able to make a bunch of levels, which would be an important thing to have in the game. So that would make it higher priority than something that needs to get in the game but doesn't impact anyone else. Once they've figured out their priority and who's going to work on the different project, then they should make a time estimate, of how long that the person who's going to make the task complete it'll take for them to make. So that way the producer will know, well, they said it would take about 2 hours to make, or half a day, or they want to have it done before the end of the first day, so that they can evaluate whether or not people are able to hit their goals. So once the task list has been created, this can be something that the producer uses throughout the jam to make sure everything is going according to plan, and it can also help them when they're communicating with their teammates who might become confused or concerned about what they're working on, kind of smooth things over, because we're all working towards the same group vision that we've developed early in the plan. The other benefit of planning in advance, of course, is that they can make sure they'll know early whether or not they're going to be going over scope and not able to complete the game on time, so that the producers can look at the list and start to evaluate, what is a good way of resolving these issues. Ways producers can look at resolving issues would be, maybe something should be cut that hasn't been worked on yet, or maybe something that is currently being worked on but isn't, blocking someone else. Maybe it can be, paused for now, or completed a little bit, but not the entire way that the person is planning, and work on something else just to make sure that everything gets done. When the producer isn't talking to other teammates, either in a group setting or one-on-one, they can be playing the game and making sure that the task list is kept up to date, whether it's complete or not, and also evaluate whether or not there's things that could be added to the game that would make it smoother, or adjusted, like if someone puts in something but it's not playing the way that it's intended to be, intending to be working, then maybe it can be adjusted. So the producer's role, is very important, because by being able to do these things, the students can work together and solve problems and create games that are, a lot more presentable at the end of the game jam. And it's certainly very important for teaching, organizational and communication skills that, you wouldn't, have if everyone is kind of off doing their own thing.